Hey everybody, it's Emily from Life So Savory, and today I'm going to be talking about the Houston Quilt Festival a little bit, as well as, excuse me, sharing some fun serger techniques. And some of these are ones that I demonstrated during the festival. But I thought I would sort of wrap up my experience there with demonstrating some of the same things for you all in a more extended version, because I don't know if any of you saw the live stream, but when I was doing my presentations there, it was about 20 to 25 minutes, which is quick even for me and my demonstrations. So we're going to be stretching that a little bit, giving you more details for the same project and showing you some things. So anyway, say hi. Let me know you're watching. I would love to know what you are up to today. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Colorado. It's actually quite warm, but looks like there's some cool weather headed our way. So I had a great time in Houston last weekend, and a big shout out to allbrands.com for bringing me to the show. It was just so amazing to see all the displays and the quilts and the vendors, and I just had the best time, both with the All Brand staff as well as some of the other brother ambassadors and educators. And it really was a great experience. So if you were there, say hello. I did get to talk to several people at the show, and people who watch me here, people who've watched me on It's So Easy. So it was really, really fun just to be in person and live and have a great time. So I love doing this with you guys, but there is something so fun about sitting down with someone and showing them how to use a serger like in person. So that was I just had a great time doing that. And yeah, so it was a really, really fun weekend. I got back late Sunday night and Monday with the time change and the travel, and having worked all weekend, I was pooped on Monday, and I felt like I was kind of walking around the whole day in a daze, and I did not get a bunch done. So today I'm trying to play catch up. I've got a really fun project coming for you this Friday. You should definitely check it out. And yesterday I posted an adorable art bag that you can stuff with all your artsy goodies, and it makes a great gift to give this holiday season. As well as, if you shop at Joann Fabric right now, they have a special fabric line on sale that benefits St. Jude hospitals for kids and research for them. You can also make a donation at the register. So if you shop at Joann this season, please make a donation to St. Jude hospitals, as well as check out the fun fabric that they have right now, which is a special line dedicated to St. Jude. And you can check that out on my Life So Savory page, as well as Joann in stores and online. So check that out. Really fun. And I'm so glad you guys are here. Oh no, Patricia has a hurricane on the way. That is not fun. So thankfully the weather here is looking good. I've got another camera set up here, so hopefully we can also give you some close-ups of what I'm about to do. And let me just grab, I forgot to grab the, so I did 3 live presentations on a stage, and people could watch right there in person, as well as they were live streamed on the All Brand Facebook page. And I did share a couple of those to my Facebook page when I remembered, but I was really busy and didn't always get that done. But so I shared some of the same serger techniques that I'm actually going to share with you today, but in a super quick version. And today you're going to get the long version. You're going to get to see all the details. But I was making these really cute dresses for my nieces. This is the tiny one, which is just so adorable. So today we're going to talk about neckbands, which you guys see me do all the time. But in addition to that, we're going to talk about rolled hems, which I don't demonstrate all the time. We're going to talk about gathering on the serger, which again, I don't always showcase. Putting clear elastic in seams, which I've shown a couple times, but not that much. And then just some basic construction for these dresses. So I've got 3 done. And my sister has 4 girls. So I have 1 more. I did cut out and take all 4 with me to the show. Isn't this fabric so cute too? I love it. So I'm making these coordinating dresses, and then here is the fabric for the one that we're going to make today. And when spring hits again in a while, the girls will be all set. But maybe actually they can wear them with like white t-shirts underneath during the fall. So let's talk about the pieces that I've cut out here. I've got a front and the back to this dress. The free pattern for this dress is linked in the tutorial. Or linked in the description, but I also just put the link on the screen. So you can go to my site and search Dolman baby doll, or I just search baby doll dress, free dress pattern, and you'll find it. It's like a yellow stripe that Rose is wearing in the picture. But that is going to be what we're making today. So I'll leave that up for just a minute. So I have the front and back. I've got a neckband cut, and then I have the skirt cut. And this you just cut as a rectangle. There's no pattern pieces, but you can use dimensions. You want it to be 1.5 to 2 times the width of the dress gathered up for that. So let me also grab my clear elastic because I didn't do that. All right, so the ones that I was demonstrating on the stage, because I was being super quick, I did not put clear elastic in the waistband, but I'm gonna do that today just to show you another fun thing to do on the serger. I love how easy it is with this machine to put clear elastic into those seams and just to add some stability, especially with that gathered waist. This is going to be a great addition. Okay, so I'm going to, for much of this, actually put it close up on the other camera so that you guys can see really how close up, or just get more details of what I'm doing. Because really the serger is the star of the show today and what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to start with the neckline. Then we will put a rolled hem on the sleeves, make a little lettuce hem, which is really cute. And I have a whole tutorial for doing that if you want to check that out. And then we will gather the skirt and then put it all together. And I'm leaving the bottoms of these unhemmed because it's just cute and flowy and easy. All right. So that's what we're going to do. Please let me know if you have questions. I am going to try to keep my eye on that. And switching over to, I think, the close-up of the serger. All right. So you all know that I like to do my necklines on an open shoulder seam, right? So usually I only sew one shoulder seam, which is what we're going to do here. One shoulder seam, and then we'll put that neck on. Okay, so I'm going to match up at the neck and the shoulder, and I should probably grab my clips over here so I have a couple and can do that. Okay, find the presser foot, and then just with a regular stitch, we're going to sew up one of those shoulder seams. Okay. So I will need to grab the clips, not necessarily for this seam, but for some others. So this pattern includes a 3/8" seam allowance. You're going to trim just a tiny bit of fabric off with the blade as you are sewing. Hi, Mary. All right. So now we are going to take the neckband, and I've already cut that out. It's 1 3/4 inches wide. And then you're going to fold it here. Okay, with the wrong sides together and the raw edges together. And then we're going to line that up on the edge of the neck, which is the shoulder. And I don't usually start stretching or anything until I get it caught under the needles. But once I do, what you want to do for that perfect neckline is give that 10 to 20% stretch on the neck band. I do not want to stretch out my dress fabric at all. Okay, so the goal is to purely stretch the neckband. And when you're sewing a neckband in a circle, you would measure around the neck opening of whatever you were making. You would take that measurement and you would cut a neckband 80 to 90% of that measurement. So essentially what I'm doing by stretching 10 to 20% here is achieving that same look, or that same look, while it's nice and flat and so much easier to sew. So this is a personal preference of mine, to always sew my neckbands with one shoulder unsewn. And it just is part of my quick and easy sewing techniques. You do not have to do that. Actually, I'm going to just remove this so you can see even better what I'm doing. But you could, if you don't just want to randomly stretch and sew, if you feel like that's what I'm doing and it's like that is too hard for you to achieve, you could definitely measure this neck opening and then do that math and have a neckband that's exactly the right size and still stretch it along the open neck. And so you would have the exact measurement with the math, but then you would also have that ease of sewing with the open shoulder. So that would be kind of, I guess, how I would say to probably start. And then after you've done a few, you're going to know what it feels like with that stretch and how much you really need to stretch. And the 80 to 90% is somewhat subjective, and a lot of it depends on your fabric. So this fabric is super stretchy. I'm using double brush poly here. It makes really flowy, beautiful dresses. And getting some pins here so I can check that out. Really great dresses. And then, but it does have really a lot of stretch. Okay, so we all know that on a serger, we can't backstitch. So we have this serger tail. And on this neckband, I'm not going to be sewing any more seams. This is the finished edge right here. So we want to make sure that we finish it. So one way is to fold that over, go to your sewing machine and zigzag that seam allowance in before you trim it off. My favorite, and a lot of, if you watched me before, you've seen me do this. I take my darning needle, I stick it into the seam about 1 inch. I go ahead and put the tail, pull that tail through the eye of my large needle, which I had a bit of a panic attack this weekend because I thought I lost my favorite darning needle at the quilt show. I thought it was in a bag that I had thrown away, but I found it in another bag. So I was really pleased about that. All right, so there we have the finished neckline. And if I open this up, you can see really cute, and it lays nicely along there. Okay, so this is a busy neckline because we have busy fabric in both the dress and the neck, but it makes great neck ribbing with, or neck binding with, this double brush poly. Okay, next thing, we are going to do a rolled hem on the sleeves. And just like on the neck, I prefer to do it while the sleeves are here and not sewn into a circle, because it's just a lot easier to stretch, especially because we're going to do the lettuce hem. So I am following right now the lettuce hem tutorial that's on my website, which will make it easier. I don't always remember all the steps, so I want to make sure that I do it exactly how it's supposed to. So the first thing is to remove the left needle. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that fabric, or that thread, pull out the left needle. We'll save it because we will need to put that back on later. The next thing we're going to do is remove the stitch finger, and I'm going to try to turn this. Ooh, I got a messy serger case. I don't know with all the cords I have around here if I can really turn this, but I'll show you. So you reach in here, there's a little lever, probably raise the presser foot. I'll chain off. And then I'm pulling this stitch finger out, okay? This machine here has a little place to store it, so I'm not gonna lose it, which I love. I put that right there. Hi, Kathy. All right, I see some of you checking in. So then, okay, so that's the next step. Then, again, I don't remember all this. I'm following. All right, so over here, we already have the stitch width on 5. The stitch length, we're going to turn to R. R for rolled hem is pretty easy. The needles, we're going to put the right needle on 5. We're going to put the upper looper on 5, and we're going to put the lower looper on 7. So that nice tight looper on 7 will help all that fabric to wrap, or the thread to wrap around. Okay, so I probably should test this on a scrap before I just go with. Although if you guys know me, it's kind of my MO is just to dive right in, but let's test this on the scrap. So this is a different color, but it is the same type of fabric. I'm going to do a lettuce hem, which means once I get it started, I'm going to pull this fabric so that the edge curls up. So I want to trim a little bit of, oh yeah, it looks great. Looks great. Look at how cute that is. Okay, so it's ruffly, it's finished. It has that nice thread right there. It is beautiful. All right, so we're gonna do that on the edge of the fabric. So the looper threads, you are going to see a lot, which I have pink in my machine, so that works out perfectly. But just so you know, if you have like black or another color that you don't love in your looper threads, make sure you put a color in the loopers that you want to see, because you will see those threads. I actually have black in the left needle, but we're not even using the left needle, so I'm not going to worry about that. Now, when you're doing this, a couple things to keep in mind is one, yes, I'm stretching out the fabric, which we never recommend doing, but it's going to make a really cute finish on here. And then also there's only one needle, so it's not taking a very big chunk out of our fabric. So that's why I like to make sure I'm trimming probably a good 1/4 inch off of the fabric so that I make sure there's a nice chunk of fabric under the needle. If I don't trim any, sometimes my fabric gets moved over too far, and then I don't do a very good job making the rolled hem. So look at how cute that is. Lettucey, lacy, and just an easy finish. So you could also do this to the hem if you wanted, but I'm just doing it to the sleeves. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do that to the other sleeve. So again, don't start pulling your fabric or stretching it until you've gotten it started under the needle so that you really have something already established before you start pulling. And then once I can also get the fabric from the back side, I will grab it. And I'm not pulling to get the fabric through quicker. I'm not trying to rush it through, but what I am doing is trying to stretch that fabric out so that it puts extra thread, and the extra thread on the stretched out fabric makes that little lacy lettuce edge. So there might be other terms for this sort of hem, but I call it a lettuce hem, and it's essentially a stretched out rolled hem and is so cute. Okay, so there we go. And that is a great technique. If you have not tried that lettucey hem, please do that. I have a whole tutorial on how to do that. So if you have questions, check that out. All right, so now we need to put the machine back together. Okay, I just changed the settings that were over here on the side. I'm going to take my stitch finger and stick it back in. And what I need to do is pull the threads out of the way so I can stick this back in. And it just sort of pops in between some tension. There's like 2 pieces of metal in here that squeeze it tightly. Okay, I think that's right. Oh my goodness. So one of the new brother sergers, the airflow, which is also air threading, so you don't even have to thread the machine anymore. Could it be any better? Oh, that is not in. It's like moving. Okay. Let me see. Make sure I get everything. All right, I think that's better. Oh yeah, I'm not rubbing anymore. It has just like a little flick of a switch to disengage that stitch finger. So not only do you not have to thread it, you don't have to take the stitch finger out. You can also lower the blade with the flip of a switch. So it has some really, really fun features. And I got to play around with it a little bit last weekend, which was amazing and so fun. All right, so I'm going to rethread that left needle. Good thing I kept my scrap fabric here so I can just go ahead and check that my seam is going to go back. Oh, you know what it also has? A needle threader. So I wouldn't have to do this. Okay, so let me take my scrap fabric here, this little piece, and we'll go ahead and do a test. Hi, Kathy. Yes, so the new Airflow 3000 serger is going to be available in January. I will be getting one from Brother early next year, but I don't have an exact date yet when that will be happening, but I will show it. I will also be adding an updated module to my Serger class with some of the features of the Airflow. So I'm so excited about that. And if you already own my Serger class, then of course you will get free access to any updated modules that I add. And if you don't own it, then it's a great time to go check it out. So the tension on my loopers, I don't remember what I had it on before, but I'm just trying to get it reorganized after doing that roll hem. Okay, so what I'm doing now is sewing the side seams, okay, which is just this little curved loopy seam right there. And okay, so we're going to sew that down. And I do these, so these underarm places where I'm starting right here are unfinished serger seams. So I will go back and tuck those in with my needle when I'm done. Okay, yeah, that new serger, it sews so smoothly. I mean, all of these do. This one, you can tell it's not, my camera is literally right here and it's not bouncing or super noisy. I just love how quiet they are, especially when I'm doing all these live shows. Okay, so once again, we're putting the thread through that large darning needle eye, pulling it through, cutting it off, just finishing, fully finishing those sleeves hems. So I'm going to see my nieces at Christmas, and that's when I will deliver these dresses to them. So I'm really excited, and they should be cute together as well as separate. Okay. So you can see here's that lettucey hem, and then we just finished that underarm right there, and that looks just fine. All right, so we have completed the top, the bodice of this dress. This loose fitting style here. I'll have to switch back to their camera to show you the whole thing. But what I have done is I did sew this skirt into a circle. Okay, so I've already sewed, this was with the fabric, so 60 wide. I've sewed up the back seam. And what we're going to do now is we're going to gather the top to match the bottom of this serger or this top. Okay, so we have this top right here and we want to match that bottom. Hi, Danielle. Okay, so to gather on the serger, super simple. All you do is change a couple of settings. So on this back side, we have differential feed. Again, I can't really show you. I don't want to switch the camera for this one thing, okay? Maybe I'll show you when I switch it back. Differential feed here goes up to 2, and the stitch length goes all the way to 4. That's it. 2 tiny changes, and you're going to get awesome gathers. So I usually like to start on one side of this back seam. I'm just going to stitch. It gathers about double. So if this is more or less, we will adjust those gathers, and I'll show you that in a minute when we're doing this. But you can see the fabric coming out the back is just beautifully gathered up. I love doing this so much. And it's so fun. All right, if you're gathering tulle or chiffon or something that you want like really, really gathered tightly and it's thin fabric, You can also go ahead and tighten up your needle tension, 1 or 2 numbers, and that will make it even more gathered. But I don't really want this gathered more than the 2 to 1. In fact, we might have to let some gathers out. I'm not sure. But I'll show you how to do that, and also how to make it tighter if it's not gathered enough. Okay? All right, yes. So if you have a new serger, no matter what brand it is, there are so many techniques that you can use it for. And check out my site for lots of more serger projects and ideas. Okay, so if you think there's any chance that this is not gathered, if this is gathered too tightly, you want to make sure that you leave a long tail here so that you have extra needle thread to slide those gathers back out of. Okay, so I'm going to actually switch this over to the other camera so that you can see my work table again. And hopefully it's on. There you go. All right, so you can see my work table here, and I'll show you how we're going to match those up. Okay, so here is the cute little top we have going. Okay, adorable. Whoops. Oh no. I need a longer cord apparently. Okay. I was just trying to make more space, but I made a disaster instead. All right, so I probably should have moved my cover stitch. So now I have this, and I am checking, it's actually not gathered enough. Okay, it's wider than this dress. So what we're going to do to add more gathers to the fabric is I'm going to take a pin. Okay, I just grabbed a pin out of my thing, and then I'm going to pick out the needle thread, and one of my needle threads happens to be black, so that is very convenient for seeing it. And we're going to pull the gathers tighter, just like you would when you run a regular gathering stitch through your fabric on your sewing machine. You can just go ahead and grab that thread. I'm pulling on the black one. I'm making it tighter, and I'm comparing still to the top of my dress. And we want them very close to the same size so that we can sew them together. So the only disadvantage of having to pull more gathers together is that now everything isn't perfectly evenly gathered like it was. The machine does just beautiful gathers on its own, but it's still pretty easy just to sort of ease that additional gathering in that I added. So I'm going to try to slide some around to the back as well. Okay. And then we are going to put this seam that we have on one of the side seams. Okay. So I'm going to start clipping the skirt to the top at that side seam. And then we're going to work our way around in both directions. It should be pretty close to the same size. But again, this is knit fabric, so if you need to ease things together, we can stretch, but not too much. If it's not really right, then you should be adjusting the gathers rather than easing the fabric. But if you do have a little variance, that is one of the benefits of knit fabric, is that it's forgiving and you can do it. Okay, let me see. See if there's any. Don't always check the comments. I'm trying to do that. Okay. So pinning this around or clipping it. Clips are great for knit fabric. They don't stretch it. It's easy to use, quick. Don't make holes in the fabric. Actually, I saw a display at the Quilt Festival where they were using magnets for a lot of these things. So that was kind of cool. I had never seen that. They had these little magnets, and they were using them to hold quilt pieces together and fabric together, and that was really fun. Okay, so here is the skirt clipped on to the top, and this is actually the last step, is sewing this together. But however, in the seam, I'm going to add clear elastic. Okay, so that is a really fun little addition that I'm going to show you. And I don't know if I've shown it live before or not, but this camera took a little bonk, but let's see if it's set up to switch over to the other one again. Is it still on? Yes. Okay. So just needs a little adjustment here as far as the location. There we go. All right. So yes, Patty, the gathering on the serger is so fun and easy and one of my favorite things to do. So if you have not tried it, try it on some scrap fabric, play around with tensions. It is amazing. All right, so this is clear elastic. It is not clear bra strap elastic because I've bought that before and that stuff is too strong. So this is just clear elastic for sewing. It's really thin. You can see it's really thin. It's kind of foggy. It's not super clear and it's stretchy, but it's not going to really go crazy. So here's how you use it. Your serger, I think most of them have a little hole. Okay, Judy, so if you're going to gather on the serger, all I do is change the stitch length from 3 to 4, and I change the differential feed from 1 to 2. Again, I change the stitch length from 3, which is the standard, to 4, and the differential feed from 1, which is the standard, to 2. And both of those are on the side over here. And I didn't show you when I had that other camera on. That's when I should have shown you those settings. All right, so you're going to take your clear elastic. You're going to find the end of it. It looks like I need to get some more. I'm close to running out. And you're going to put it through that hole. It's not even, mine is kind of oval shaped. And then I'm going to take the clear elastic and slide it around the back so it's coming out this back side. All right. And then this beautiful thing is just going to feed right into our seam. Oh my goodness. So crazy and so easy. You guys are going to love this. All right. So the clear elastic just provides some extra stability in our knit seams. And I use it in mostly waistbands or waist seams. When I'm sewing knit dresses, just to help things all go together. And it's going to be hard to see because literally it is clear, but I will try to show you. I don't do much with this. It just self feeds through the fabric, but I just make sure that it's there and not tangled. And then when I can show you how it looks, I will hold up the fabric. Okay, it is going into the seam. I can see it like feeding in. I'm making sure that my gathered part of this skirt is lined up with the top of the skirt that's there. Okay, so we're sewing through. We have 2 layers of fabric plus this clear elastic that's being sewn right into here. Sometimes I will hold it like this, but sometimes I won't if I have other things I need my hands to do. Oh, it broke off. Okay, so I'm just going to take this off for a second. I don't know if I accidentally got it under the blade or what. I probably, when I touched it, it was going along just fine. And then, so I will go back just a little bit. I think it pooped out back here. But so once again, I'll just thread it through the hole, lift the presser foot, slide it around to the back, and then we're going to just sort of start in the middle there. Okay, now it's being sewn back in. So the thing is, you literally can't even see it, but it is in here. Okay. The clear elastic is in this seam perfectly. And it's under the stitches, so the child can't feel it in their dress, but it just provides some extra stability in that seam. It's actually lovely. Kathy, I'm not cutting anything really off. I mean, just like hairs, threads, but the blade is going up and down. So if that elastic did happen to get like stuck where the blade is, it could be chopped because the blade is still going up and down. So even though I'm not really trimming any fabric, anything that's going to get in that way is going to be trimmed off. So that's what I mean by it could have gotten cut. I'm not really cutting, I'm not really trimming the fabric because I kind of want those gathers to, I don't really want to trim off the gathers. So I'm just trimming off, if there's extra threads. Okay, so we're almost back around. Oh, it cut again. Seriously, I wonder if it's old. Because I have done this so many times and I feel like it never comes off, or I never have to like repiece it. I am really glad I didn't try to demonstrate this live. You guys get my mistakes. There I was trying to do a perfect show. So, Debbie, I'm not stretching the elastic. So you can see it just sort of feeds in naturally and just sort of lays flat in the seam. You can stretch it. So if you want to use this elastic to gather, which I've actually done, used it to gather up something, then I would be pulling on this with this hand, pulling to stretch it. But this one, I'm just doing it for stability in this waist. So I'm not wanting to stretch it. I could turn the blade off, but actually I don't usually do that. So I'm just going to keep going and see if I can finish this off. You definitely can turn the blade off, but you can see I am trimming little bits of things, and I wouldn't want all that in my seam, because if you turn the blade off, then all of that gets wrapped up in the seam that you're sewing. All right, so now back here at the beginning, this was that clear elastic piece that I slid under the presser foot to start with. Okay, so that we're trimming off, and then we're going to overlap that clear elastic about 1 or 2 inches. I'm actually going to cut it right here and then keep sewing so that it's fully enclosed in the seam, and then come off, and I don't have any elastic hanging out anywhere. I do need to go back, however, and trim it off of those couple places where we restarted that, which again, I don't usually have to deal with. So that was a little bit interesting, but you do want it to be one continuous piece of elastic around, because sometimes if you don't, like if I just left a gap where this broke off and then I started it over here, it hangs differently because of the elastic being in the seam. So I really wish you could see this, but it's super hard because it's clear, but there's elastic right in there, and it was so easy to put in there. So take my word for it. See the close-up. If you search clear elastic on my website, you will be able to see where I have done before and shown you how to put clear elastic into your seams. So now we get to flip this dress right side out and check out the finished product. It is so, so stinking cute. Threads coming everywhere, but just a loose fit summer dress, spring dress. I know it's totally the wrong season for it, but how cute is that? We have a nice looking gathered waist. If you see some of those gathering stitches from the serger, you can just go through and pick them out just like normal, but otherwise you have a beautiful dress. This is for my niece who's 10, so it's a little bit bigger. Okay, but this is a really loose fit. So click through the free pattern that's in the description link to see how it fits. But again, it's loose fit
flowy, really cute. Rose wears, she has a couple versions and she wears them all the time because they're so comfy, especially when you make them out of really soft fabric. So there you go, today's sewing tutorial plus a bunch of serger tips that you just get for free, a free bonus. And I'm so glad you guys are able to join me today. Thank you so much. I should be here next Thursday or next Wednesday, but I do want to just put a little plug in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 12 p.m. Pacific. I do the conversion. I'm going to be sewing on the Brothers Sews Facebook page live with Angela Wolf, and I'm going to show you how to make the cutest little Halloween or Thanksgiving project. We're going to make these cute little turkey masks. How cute is that? So I posted this on my site a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to be showing you how to make these live tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern on the Brothers Sews Facebook page. So tune in then. Check it out. It's going to be a fun time. Angela and I will have a great time together and we'll be sewing that. So come check that out. And then as well as next week, I'll be back sewing here on my site with a fun project. So thank you so much for joining me. I love sewing with you guys and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye.